Man, that intro drops off faster than the Toronto Maple Leafs playoff chances. It just like it's so hard and then goes to nothing. Hello, hockey fans. Welcome to episode 15 of the Heavy Hockey Podcast. We are back again for another round of Oilers pontification. Is that a good word?
It's a big word for you, my friend.
Good old. Oh, are we starting like that today, Lotsy? Just drops the gloves. Wow, as well. That's Lotsy showing some gumption like the Oilers have lately. Yeah. Hey, good to see you, one of you guys. I go around the horn and ask how everybody's doing. Instead, I'll just introduce you, Bob the goalie, Ryan, Lotsy, not Lotsy, or whatever. Who cares? And the awesome, fantastic, my good friend, Kevin McCurdy, who I do care about.
Wow.
Yeah, well, that's just how it started today, Lotsy. You can wow whoever the hell you want right now, okay? I'd ask you how you're doing, but I don't care. So I'll just go straight to Kevin. Hey, special day in Oilers land, not just because we're in a bit of a burner right now and on the wagon and 4-game winning streak. It's about time for the longest one of the year.
Plan the parade.
Yeah, it's going right through Sherwood Park if I have anything to do with it. But before we get started there, the day holds some special significance as well, for Kevin, you especially, for all of us here. It's the 1-year passing of your father, somebody that's a mentor to all of us and has been. What a fitting day for Artemis 2 to go take off to the moon.
Send it.
Right? I thought that was cool. I thought about him a lot today as I watched that. Comments to you, Kevin.
There's not much to comment on.
You're gone by.
He is missed every single day by people that watch this podcast, by my family, by people that knew him in other communities, music, astronomy, the sciences. The loss has been a defining event in my life, and he is missed every single day, every hour of every day. There's something that reminds me of him or my mom of him or whatever, but like there's just these inexplicable pieces that you don't really appreciate until someone's gone. And I know he meant a lot to the folks here on Heavy Hockey and to the wider community that watches this podcast.
Yeah, well said. I think the biggest compliment we could give him is the fact that, not only does he remind you every day, he reminds all of us. And like, that's just the widespread touch he had. Totally special guy. I'll come back to me because I want to read a text that he sent me one time. And I thought about it a couple of times today too. Kevin, you've heard it before, so you won't be surprised, but it's just so Bruce. It's so Bruce. So before I get to that, Bob, first, maybe, I know we all four of us, all three of us, at least outside of Kevin here, obviously, he meant a great deal to all of us. Bruce was a one-of-a-kind human being. I'm sure he would have said never in doubt on that 3-0 win as well. So, Bob, favorite moments over the years?
Oh, man. I mean, my first awareness of Bruce was through, like, Cult of Hockey, right? I mean, I used to read quite a bit of their stuff, and I really enjoyed Bruce's stuff more than everybody else's, even though I thought, it's a pretty good team over there in general. But a lot of Bruce's opinions kind of aligned with what I was feeling at the time. And I remember I was a guest on a podcast, and Bruce was also a guest. And this is my first time having any sort of verbal communication with him whatsoever. And I was absolutely blown away, as we've all become aware of his hockey archive photogenic memory. And I'm a amateur hockey historian at best. I love that old stuff, and his stories just like they made him so real. They just popped during that whole podcast, and I was kind of like I was just in awe the whole time. I probably shouldn't have been on the podcast. I felt like my voice was detrimental to the whole show because just listened to Bruce the whole time. Just the respect and the admiration I had for that. And then in 2023. I got to meet one of my hockey heroes, Glenn Hall, out in St. Albert, after a long journey of trying to find him. And I posted, I bragged about this on every social media outlet I have. And Bruce actually DM'd me on Twitter, and he was pretty excited for me. And then we had kind of exchanged. I didn't know this, but Bruce was an old goalie as well. So we kind of clicked on that. Our love for the old, the original 6 goaltenders, and he had written a bunch of articles on these guys before in a previous lifetime kind of thing, and he hooked me up with these articles so I could read them again. And then every so often, I would randomly get a message from Bruce in regards to another hockey memory that hit him that was goaltender oriented, and I would try to do the same, although mine would always kind of pale in comparison. But I always appreciate hearing from him, and him just reaching out kind of randomly at times. And I've kept every single one of those messages on Twitter because they do mean a lot to me.
Love that. Lotsy?
So, I mean, when I think about Bruce, I think it's just the respect I have for him, like not just as a writer, but as a human being as well. Like I didn't know him that well. I didn't have all that many interactions with him. But like when I did get DMs from him talking about some of my early work, even before I joined the Heavy Hockey Network, that was a really cool moment for me. But you hear all the stories about him and how he treated people, and how involved he was in multiple communities, hockey and astrology and sciences, guitar, music, everywhere, right? Everybody in those communities just talks about how great of a person he was. So yeah, just a lot of respect for Bruce.
Yeah, and you nailed it right there. You always had time for everybody. And here's a classic example. I'd already had a pretty good dialogue with Bruce going at this time, but this was back in late October of 2023. And I just took a picture of the sky because my son was really, enthralled in the planets and the moon and the stars. And he kept asking me every morning what this really bright light was up by the sun. So I just, who am I going to ask? Bruce. Took a picture. Hey, Bruce, what's this bright star planet or whatever this is below the moon the last few nights? A couple hours later, I'm sure he was wrapping up his story for the journal and getting everything in there and edited, and gave me a great one-word answer that I was thrilled to get. Jupiter. Right on. Bruce told me. I know this now. Like, that's pretty cool. Bruce got back to me and made time to do so. I'm already impressed, right? I just say thank you. Let me get scroll down. I have to scroll down a long time to see the bottom of this next one. 2 hours later. Hey, Dash, got a minute now to provide the longer version. Warning, the clockwork of the solar systems and Earth's changing perspective within it is a favorite subject of mine. Jupiter is, with rare exceptions involving extreme favorable approaches of Mars, the second brightest planet other than Venus. From our view, the inner planet is constrained by the sun and is always within 47 degrees of it, with the moon always in the crescent phase. Be it waxing, evening sky, or waning, morning, typically best seen in twilight. When Venus comes closest to us, it is between Sun and Earth and can only be observed, with great care, telescopically, passing above or below the Sun in broad daylight, or occasionally across the Sun's face, the rare transit of Venus that occurred twice recently in 2004 and 2012. I observed both, but won't again until 2117. Mark your calendar. Whereas the outer planets will go all the way around our sky and come closest to us when they are opposite the sun, with Earth between the two rather than on one end of the lineup. So all of Mars, Jupiter, Saturn can be seen near a moon of any phase, whether outer planets are near opposition and near their biggest, brightest, or they'll conjoin with the full moon, which is also opposite the sun. The full moon overwhelms everything around it, but mighty Jupiter hangs in not too badly as a temporary partner. It reaches opposition next week on November 3rd, and it's about as close to us as it's kicking at right now. TLDR, that was Jupiter you saw. You're amazing. Thanks, Bruce. That's him, right? Like, I know I've read that to you before, Kev. You said you can just hear him telling me that, right? And watching movies with him, he'd be criticizing the Steven Spielberg theatrics because the moon was upside down in the picture and in its wrong waning phase, and that's Bruce to me in a nutshell, right? Like, who has that much time to get, that type of answer to dash in the park? It's not a cut and paste. Bruce probably put thought into that.
Yeah, absolutely did.
So-
I can't count the number of times I heard answers like that, or with that degree of intellect and just general thoughtfulness, that whether it was in person or via text or whatever. And I've heard hundreds of stories since he passed, of basically to that extent, and it's been a pretty humbling experience, I'll tell you.
Another favorite moment for me live was at Low Tide's book signing. We were downstairs in oh man, what's the name of that bookstore downtown? Lotsy probably knows. Thank you, Audrey's. And he didn't have to talk to us, but like he did, and that was pretty cool all in itself. Except like he knew who every one of us was. Jeff Aid, talked about the Sabres for a little bit, like right down to the details of every single one of our members and who they cheered for and what they post about. And during the question and answering afterwards, I had stayed up 3/4 of the night trying to come up with the most intelligent Low Tide question I could come up with. And of course, his book was all about the draft and the history of the draft. And I think I phrased my question something such as this. Alan, if you were to ask me the question as to who I thought had the most scouts placed in Sweden, or at least that area of Europe, in the entire NHL, I would probably tell you Ken Holland and Steve Yzerman. And given that those are the two, and if that's the right answer, why did they both pass on Jesper Wallstedt? And Low Tide was just like, he sat there stunned for a second, went, God, I hate you. That's such a good question. And there's a little bit of tension in the room as he answered it. And, like pure Bruce situational awareness. He needs to cut the mood in the room after that one. And like word for word, I can remember he asked the very next question. Alan, who's your favorite Oilers draft pick of all time, and why is it Marc-Antoine Pouliot? And gets, you know what? Bring that one up to Alan on the air one day, Kevin. You'll get a crack out of him because, it was a lightener of the mood and just perfect timing. And, that bit of wry, witty, comedic insert that was just so Bruce that you had to be on a certain wavelength to understand. And man, if you're on that wavelength, it was just so good. So anyways, we all miss you, Bruce. Any final thoughts on that? Kev, Bob, Ryan, jump in.
What much else to say, man, other than I hope that he enjoyed the Artemis launch today.
Yeah, me too, man. I also hope he enjoyed watching you raise a trophy wearing the name McCurdy on the back. You're the heavy hockey showdown, brother. My defense partner right there. All right, guys, you want to get into this or what?
Let's go.
All right. Well, to me, here's the question that I think everybody's probably debating right now and on everybody's mind. And has the old Edmonton Oilers finally flipped the switch? Or is this kind of just another carefully crafted mirage? 4 straight wins, defense that looks less like a sieve and more like a system for the first time in a long time. Goaltending that's at least serviceable. McDavid doing McDavid things, let's be honest. For a team that struggled, I think, to limit high danger chances and rushes at the beginning of the season, and for long stretches of this season, this stretch could be a real turning point. Or it's just a temporary heater that evaporates. I'm not sure, but yes, we'll see if the discipline slips. So tonight, I don't know if we'll probably get in pretty deep into recapping some of those 4 wins, if you guys feel, or if you want to jump into dissecting what they need to do to keep this going, we can do that too. And probably a little bit of mix of all of it. But I don't know, let's maybe just go general comments for the winning streak, what you guys saw over the last week, the winning streak, whatever you want, keys, what jumps out at you, players, team, system, coaching. Bob?
I think it's, speaking as the layman kind of thing here, that's their defensive play. There's just overall as a unit, like as a team out there, it just seems to be a lot more disciplined. They looks like they're keeping things a lot more simpler on the backside. I even saw Bouchard here the other game. He actually put one off the glass out of the zone as opposed to trying to dish it to McDavid for a breakout when it wasn't there. That was my one knock against Bush, is he always seems to try to force a play because he doesn't want to waste ice time with either Connor or Leon out there. You want to generate offense, but sometimes the right play is just to get out of the zone, especially you've been trapped there for a while. And he did that last game, and I'm like, I was watching it by myself at home, and I almost stood up to give him a round of applause just because this is what I wanted to see. Don't force it. Just relieve the pressure, regroup, and then attack. And he nailed it there. I've been impressed with. I think Dickinson is finally becoming the guy we want him to be in our zone, at least. I'm not really sure what he generates for past the red line. He's been looking pretty solid on the penalty kill, even though he seemed to have a little bit of problems getting clear in the zone there a couple of times last game. But just defensively in position, I've been impressed with him. I think Connor Murphy is becoming the guy we hoped he would be as well. It seems to has really stabilized that back, and especially as a defensive play. Darnell Nurse, I think, has been like, I thought last game he was him and Eklund were probably our two best defensemen in the Seattle game. I thought Nurse was extremely solid, even if he did hit the ref once trying to clear the lane. But I was really impressed at his positioning game overall, and of course goaltending. Ingram, that may have been one of his top two games of the season. One of his top two games as an Oiler, obviously. He was just in control right from puck drop on, always in position. He makes these he's a quiet goalie. Like, he's not, his feet don't dance around. He's not flopping around. He is just like, most of the pucks hit him in the chest. And as a goalie, speaking for myself, those are the best saves you made. The ones that hit you right in the middle, because that meant you were in position. You read the play. You got there in time. You made the save. If he hits you in the gut, there's less chance for rebound as well. His rebound control was fantastic. He is so composed and quiet back there. Knobloch in his post-game comments said something along the line of, if Ingram didn't make the saves that he made, then we would be talking about turnovers and some defensive breakdowns, perhaps. But good goaltending and timely saves erase all of that. Not once was there talk about cough-ups, grade A chances against, because Ingram pretty just shut it down. So it wasn't as obvious. Whereas before, they just seemed to be finding their way in the net. Every time we coughed it up and gave up a grade A, it was 1-0 other team, right? And Ingram took away all that. And it's 4 games. It's an okay sample size, but let's keep her going, and let's make sure that this is now a habit and not just a 4-game anomaly.
Yeah, I think they transitioned from outscoring their mistakes to maybe just trying to limit mistakes, which is, a nice little trend to start before the playoffs get going. I would say, fair to say, Bob, the key word or the consistent maybe theme throughout everything you said there is increased predictability, right? The defense, producing more predictable results. Nurse and Murphy really have some chemistry together. I think they seem to be kind of balancing each other out positionally, or Murphy has a way to be able to keep Nurse's system better, or maybe this is all just better because Wallman's not playing the right side. I don't know. But I do see chemistry growing throughout those D pairings, which you alluded to in a different way, as well as, you talked about the shot rebound suppression, of Ingram, and the way he's predictable and the way that he's in position and just doesn't need to be flashy. So I think from all areas of the ice, we've seen better predictability, which is always going to lend to better results in the National Hockey League. Lotsy?
I think a lot of it is the system. Like, there were some systemic changes made after the Olympic break, right? And Knobloch, I'm not going to be able to remember exactly which interview this happened in or he said this in, but I feel like there's been a couple where he's talked about, like, yeah, this isn't the sexy way to play hockey, but it's simple and it's effective, and we're getting results from it right now. So I think that's good to see. And I mean, those are some 4 important wins against teams that we might see in the first round. Like, if we win the division, which is still very possible, which seems crazy to say after the season that's been, but Utah would be the matchup more than likely, and we took care of them. No worries. If we stay in the 2 seeds or the 3 seed, then it's Vegas more than likely. Tight game. Wasn't the prettiest game either way. But we got it done, 4-3 in overtime. Anaheim, they're a fun team to watch. Like even watching them play against Toronto the other night, that was a spirited, entertaining hockey game, and the Oilers took care of them. Right, it just did enough defensively. Their veterans can provide enough offense in the game like that to get it done. So those being the opponents, sure, they're not the league's elite, but they're playoff opponents. They're people, or they're teams that we're going to see in round 1. We're going to see one of them. So it's good to see that how our game matches up against them right now. But yeah, I think the reason for the success, though, is improved systemic play, improved defensive play. Part of it is the new systems, and part of it might even be Paul Coffey. I'm not going to sit here and say that he's the reason for it, but I'm also not going to sit here and say that he has nothing to do with it. I just don't know what his impact is because I'm not on the bench. I don't know what he's saying. I don't know what he's done for utilization. I don't know any of that. But I think losing Leon has helped this team dial into defensive details because they had to, right? They know they're not going to outscore their mistakes now. So they have to make less mistakes.
Yeah, really well said in a lot of ways. I made some notes in the game, so I'm actually just kind of scrolling for those right now because I know you touched on a few things, and not that I want to give you too much credit today because you're being an a-hole earlier. Yeah, system. So I think what I'm noticing, it's their difference in play in the neutral zone for the most part for me, and probably derived mostly around effort. The F3 coming back and supporting the defenseman has been significantly better. Not just Nuge doing it like usual, which is the regular Oilers. As a result, I think like the 1-2-2 helps with a lot of those blind rushes. I see the defense closing gaps earlier, being a little bit more systematic and less hesitant. Breakouts, I think that's where the coffee factor comes in, Ryan. No, we're not on the bench, and I'm not going to pretend that I am either after what you said. That said, we all know this team well enough to know what Paul Coffey's tendencies are, and we all listen to the media enough to know that his philosophy was moving the puck up quick, not hesitating, putting confidence in those defensemen, as in like the willingness to be able to make those plays under pressure, but being better with your wrist calibration. I think where you're probably trying to, dance without stepping on each other's toes, like Coffey was so good at. And I've really seen that improve. So I think, like, I'm pretty sure it was Ace that said it in the chat, and I know Ace well enough to know his philosophies on this, but he predicted this, and he said that this was going to happen with the defense when Coffey came in. And, whether it's just a change in attitude, a change in effort by the forwards, or simplifying the system, but I don't know how you'd argue that Paul Coffey hasn't had a positive impact. If he's a neutral bystander, well, I don't know. Maybe. Kev, what do you think about this whole 4-game doozy?
Oh, I think it's a good start, but in light of the winning streaks last year, I think it's just that. It's a start. The team is starting to play as a unit, and that has been very important considering their disparate philosophies up until now. I don't know. I just want to see more of it. I want to see more improvement from the bottom 6 in particular. They've been going in the right direction. I'm a little disappointed to see Szymanski in the 13th slot after this morning's practice. I think he's been quite good. But with that said, there might be some mitigating factors that we're not aware of just yet. He's up on an emergency call-up, and he may have to be have some paperwork done to move him around with the return of Trent Fredericks. So I don't want to get too bent out of shape about it just yet. Overall, I think the Podkolzin, McDavid, Savoy line has been a revelation. They've been dominant in their possession numbers. Realistically, this is a line that's got just 60 minutes of time on ice together, and they, in that time, have 60% of the goal share and 62% of expected goal share and 62% of Corsi. So that's about as ass kicking as you can ask for in a pretty small sample size. And the other revelation has been the new second line, which has been Zach Hyman with Ryan Nugent-Hopkins and Jack Roslovic. Again, small sample, 50 minutes time on ice, 100% of the goal share, 4-0. A 15% shooting percentage, which is ridiculous, and not quite as dominant on the expected goals. So Lady Luck has been on their side a little bit, but overall, just like where the combinations are at from the coach's point of view. And I think that as long as we don't get too hasty with the decision making on the youngsters here, that this is a sustainable trend for this team.
Yeah, I think I guess I'll maybe just throw in a couple of things that maybe we didn't touch on just to round all of that out. I think the PK has been a lot better, which has helped. I really like the addition of Murphy and Dickinson there. Obviously, there was highly touted coming over from Chicago that had the best PK in the league, and those were the two first guys over the boards for that PK. So nice to have that here over on our side. Also, I've really noticed Rico buzzing lately. Is really aggressive on the PK last night. Like, there was zero chance at any point in time in those penalty kills to draw a box. You couldn't, because there was just like, it was moving parts. And I think that's a little bit new too. So, I don't know whether Mark Stewart's trying to push some new things, or whether the Chicago guys brought some, tricks of the trade over from Chicago, whether Coffey's had some influence there, maybe a little from column A, B, and C. But I like what the penalty kills done. But I think Kevin kind of nailed it there as much as great to see the improvement, great to see 4 games, great to see some balance. I like to see that they're winning the games in different ways, holding leads, playing mature hockey. It's been a low mistake stretch for sure. That said, shot share hasn't dramatically improved. Rush chances against haven't completely disappeared. There's still warts there. The penalty or the power play will get better once Leo's back. So I guess all that said, we talked about players a little bit. There's chat of Max Jones in the chat, and he deserves it. Maybe I'll just give people some credit for that here. Rediscovery Records, I'd stay with Jones. Some Stranger, Jones has been pretty good. Ace, I'd stay with Jones. He's been the max of the Jones. Also mention here that Freddie's available and probably back in the lineup tomorrow. Injuries probably getting him back in the lineup. I'm not sure it would be that way other ways. Maybe it would. He's been playing pretty good lately, but I mean, isn't Max Jones everything we wanted Freddie to be? Like, he's played really well. And what's he got, 3 goals now or something in a dozen games, or a baker's dozen, and throwing the body, net presence, net front presence. That said, this whole thing's been hashtag next man up because of the Leon Draisaitl injury. So let's maybe shift there a little bit. Somebody brought up that amazing line. I think that was Kevin, right? Playing the McDavid, Savoy, Podkolzin line. That's left Hyman, Nuge, and I'm brain farting on the other winger. Help me out.
Roslovic,
thank you. Sorry. Yeah. Has been a very formidable second line. They've been showing some chemistry, in my opinion. what does that open the door for when Leon's able to come back? Is that like Leon, Kapanen, and fill in the blank on a third line, or
I was
who's
just
1, 2, and 3 line? Like who's the top line there? Like that's a pretty good top 9 to throw over. Whether you got, I don't know, maybe Freddie, maybe I don't think Dickinson's going up there. He's got his spot on the fourth, but can you get Isaac Howard hot for the playoffs? Can you get somebody in a scoring or trigger role over there for Leon? But I like the way that they're balanced and playing right now, right? You didn't have a forward play more than 20 minutes last night. You got the fourth line playing almost 10 minutes instead of 2 minutes. Yeah, I don't know. Lotsy, you're sitting on your hands a little bit there. You got something to say?
And I was actually just kind of having some similar thoughts about
Don't agree with me.
When Leon comes back. Great minds think alike.
No,
that hurt. That feels
fools seldom different. Yeah, fools seldom
yeah.
different.
That seems more accurate. But I was just thinking, like, we got 2 lines that are rolling really well, and we got this weapon, Leon, coming back. He's had good chemistry with Kapanen earlier this year, right? So there's makings of a really strong third scoring line, something I've been dreaming of having here for many eons now, right? We've just never been able to make it happen. I didn't think we had the right game plan to address that at the trade deadline, but maybe it's just a matter of shuffling some pieces around, and maybe we do have 3 really good scoring lines. I don't know who you put there to go with Leon and Kapanen. I think you ran through the list pretty good there, whether it's Frederick or maybe it's a call-up like Ike, or dare I say Rico, as a guy that has experience playing top 6, right? He's got the IQ to handle that role, maybe not the boots anymore, right? But you can spread out the ice time a little more evenly among those big 3 lines and have a shutdown line with Dickinson and Lazar, and insert other fourth line winger here, Jones, Szymanski. I don't care.
Szymanski's not a bad option.
Line.
Szymanski's not a bad option to play there.
If you're going to utilize Szymanski, it's in a defensive shutdown role.
I don't know. I don't mind Szymanski beside Draisaitl and Kapanen on a third line. They have some offensive punch, big, heavy line. Szymanski and Draisaitl got some history there from
they played together at the Olympics.
And they like Szymanski better at center, but let's not kid ourselves. Leon isn't coming back 100%, you guys. He's going to be ready for the playoffs with a Toradol needle hanging out of his ass. So ultimately, or out of his knee, pardon me, wherever they stick those things. That said, maybe you do protect him with a guy that's good at center when Leon can just play a little wing like he did when he was breaking Gretzky's records against Calgary on one leg. Or having Szymanski or him switch off on faceoffs, right? Can Leon really plant on that leg right now to be able to win faceoffs consistently? And so I don't mind that there either. Should be interesting. What do you guys think on lines? Bob, Kev, who wants to jump in there? Bob, you look anxious.
I mean, isn't this a great problem to have though right now?
Yeah, for sure.
When you have the lines clicking the way they are right now, and that we still have unarguably one of the top 3 hockey players in the world still to come back in the lineup. No matter where you put Leon, if it's not with Connor, it automatically becomes your second line, obviously, no matter who you have for wingers. But it does kind of give you the option of putting up a nuclear line and still having a strength for scoring if you want to play it that way, right? I mean, I love Podsy up there as well, but is he really a first line player? He complements Connor right now well with some good hustle and banging on the boards, but you can't tell me that putting Leon up there instead of Podsy doesn't make that line that much more dangerous. And yet Podsy won't hurt you when he's playing on the third line. Like he'll keep doing that bang and maybe even be counted for a bit more offense from that line to try and contribute. Who knows? And then on the fourth line, we still got guys like Jan Martin Doc still waiting in the weeds as well to might be ready to come in and have an audition for the playoffs here or what have you. But I mean, I got excited with you guys talking about lines because the biggest thing we've been, one of the biggest complaints we've had as Oilers fans is depth scoring, and now all of a sudden we do have, with lines contributing on almost every level. Sans the fourth line maybe, but still we got 3 lines who've been able to do some scoring, and we've got like a potential of having 7 20-goal scorers on this team here by the time the year is over.
Yeah, but the fourth line's doing their job. And
they're doing their job. They're not counting on to score 20 goals each, right? They're not.
Yep.
So they're doing what they're supposed to do. But good stuff.
Yeah, well, that's good. I'm glad you're excited, Bob. It's hard for a guy that's as old as you to still get her up like that. But
speak up. I can barely hear you.
Turn your hearing aid up to about 7 or 8, maybe. Kev, lines, whatever.
I think they're in an okay spot right now. I think they're in as good a place as they can be at the moment. And well, let's just say I've got something coming after this podcast that I alluded to that I alluded to during Low Tide show earlier. I spent the last several weeks building a new tool that I think is better than the natural stat trick line tool. No slander against that. It's been around forever. It's old reliable for a lot of people, but I got sick of doing 7 permutations of lines every time Chris Knobloch decided to have a sip of his coffee on the bench. So I built something that I think is better and cleaner. And so after this game, there's going to be, or after this podcast, there's going to be a post going up on my Twitter account that I hope people will get some use out of. Open to feedback on it, and definitely looking forward to seeing how it performs in the real world.
Yep, good, great. Yeah, that's about a good a segue we could have had to tee that up for you, isn't it? Back to the Szymanski, jumping into the chat, Rediscovery Records. Szymanski knows where to be, smart player. He's not timid, he's not aggressive, but he's not meek. I feel like you just said like you could replace Janmark in there, and that's the exact same thing, right? Like Janmark knows where to be. He's not timid, he's not aggressive, he's not meek. I'm not sure how much offense is there, but I didn't mind Janmark in the playoffs either, right? I also like some stranger, Nuge, Roslovic, Hyman could be the third line. Yeah, absolutely. I think ultimately when you have 3 really strong lines for a top 9 like that, honestly, it doesn't even really matter who's 1, 2, or 3. You just play your matchups and roll who's going. All right, let's see. What did we maybe miss in all of that? Let's maybe talk about some of the different players. I think Bouchard has done nothing but improve week after week, month after month, this entire season. He's doing, Bouchard of the past playoff kind of type things here for this team right now. And it's showing when you've got, first things first, when Nurse can simplify his game and keep things predictable, it's amazing how all 6 defensemen play well.
Mm-hmm.
Like, isn't that something?
It's almost like he's actually good at defense. Like, I know that's going to be a take that like kind of pisses some people off, but like the reality is that Nurse gets a lot of unnecessary hatred because he plays 82 games a year for this team. He rarely misses injury time. When he overcomplicates it, that's when he runs into issues. But, the guy is an absolute freak of performance. Like in terms of like his ability to skate, he's one of the best skating defensemen in the league. I'd say easily in the top 20. He's got good sense in that and just overall physical ability. And when he plays a fairly simple game and is well supported by his teammates, he makes a positive difference, and we've seen a lot of that in the last couple of weeks.
Yep, I would agree. Any thoughts on Bouchard, since I know he's one of your Achilles heels, or people's opinions of him is one of your Achilles heels, is what I kind of meant to say.
I mean, I think he's in the Norris conversation. I don't necessarily think he's going to win the Norris Trophy this year. I don't think that's ever been my position, but I think he's in the conversation, and that's good enough for me. I really would have liked him to have gone to the Olympics, and people have been actually forced to watch, a few 60-minute games with him in it. I think that might have made a pretty significant difference in his perceptions on a national scale anyways, if not an international scale. But especially after some of the very public mistakes that Makar made during the Olympics and over the course of this season. And that's no slander against Makar. He's the best defenseman in the world. There's still not much doubt about that. But you can't tell me that Bouchard hasn't closed that gap by a lot.
Yeah, I would think he has for sure. I see Ace is signing off. I don't know what we did to offend him. He must have to go to bed and get his beauty sleep or something there. But I guess good night, Jim Kite. Yeah, well said, Kev. I think, there isn't a person in this entire city that you can't go and put a microphone in front of that knows their hockey. And, what does Darnell Nurse got to do to be better? The answer is always simplify his game. Certain defense partners have seemed to allow him to do that, and others haven't. Like I can't say I can boil it down as to why. I can see how Wallman would make anybody feel erratic. I'm not sure anybody trusts Wallman on that right side. Goalies, D partners, anybody included, nor should they. He's standing on a lot of back doors for short side goals this year, like a lot. That said, I think getting Wallman over to the other side, I think Murphy has calmed down Doc's game, similarly to how Duncan Keith kind of came in and cut the ice in half. I'd be the last guy to give Keith a compliment, but when it was all said and done, I do really think that he did a lot to kind of show them how to keep things simple, and Nurse and Bouchard were benefactors of that. So, Makar's the best defenseman in the world. Yeah, probably. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, like I don't know who you'd argue really hard against otherwise. That doesn't mean you win a Norris either. Rediscovery Record says he's overrated defensively. I don't know if I agree with that. Yeah, maybe this year. There's very few guys that I've seen. Yeah, and that's fair, and I've seen that. That said, there's very few defensemen in the history of the league that I've ever seen be able to successfully defend Connor McDavid with their feet. I'm gonna just pause.
I've never seen very many. I've never seen very many defensemen that are successfully able to skate backwards as fast as Connor McDavid is able to skate forwards. So
you just said the exact same sentence in a different way. Yeah, absolutely.
The two of them,
totally agree.
The two of them are Cale Makar and Josh Morrissey.
Yeah, Harley's done well, I think, as well. I've seen some different guys that have gotten close, but and the whole defense sixum has been pretty predictable, and I think that helps Connor Ingram. Connor Ingram plays well. He's got a good read, probably the best goalie that we've had. That in how he reads the game positionally. Bob brought it up. Yeah, Bob being the goalie, he would have the eye for that. I think it's a pretty common narrative out there now, the rebound control and how he's sucking things right up. Honestly, it's just not every goalie's perfect. They're all gonna have their warts. Certain warts are gonna fit certain teams certain ways, and I just think Connor Ingram fits the Oilers really well. He complements the things that we weren't doing great. For example, role and assignment recognition by the defenseman off of rebounds. There was a good 10-15 game stretch where almost any rebound that came off of Skinner or Pickard or whoever was going to get in the back of the net because one of those defensemen were spinning around like a top and didn't know who to cover, right? And then just the mere fact that Ingram can suck those up and take that indecision or potential mistake away, I think has been a big factor in being able to calm this entire thing down. I'll go to Bob since he's the goalie.
Well, 100%. He's probably the best positional goalie we've had in a long time, which fits the need for what the Oilers need right now. I mean, we are still, one of the top teams for getting up grade A's. I mean, I know they've come down here the last, 5 games or so, but just overall though, and with the way that Ingram's able to swallow up these pucks, these rebounds, goes a long way for limiting future grade A's coming off, giving up a grade A after stopping a grade A kind of thing, right? So you're probably having your grade A's right now, just with your rebound control. Now, I do want to say this. I do think that Tristan Jarry has all the tools to be the better of the two goalies. I think Jari's biggest thing right now, especially after he came back from injury, is rebounds. But just what we're touching on right now. He's so active with his legs. He has very quick legs, but he isn't swallowing pucks. He's kicking them out, and they tend to be popping out, 5-6 feet in front of you or in front of him. And like you say, then the defensemen are turning, doing pirouettes on the ice, trying to find this puck, and then of course the opposition gets their stick on it first and gets a grade A, if not a goal on it, right? Yep. So right now the biggest difference between these two is Ingram's play reading and rebound control, and which is exactly what we need in this current edition of the Oilers. I do think that we still have Jari for a couple more years. I still think there is time. Yeah, maybe, right? But contractually, I do think, in my mind, honestly, I do think Jari has the goods to be, a top 20, top 15 goalie in the NHL. But right now, we're in the now, and we need Connor Ingram right now, and he's doing the job we need him to be.
He's probably the most athletic goalie we've had in close to a decade. At least I can't even think previous to Smith or Koskinen who would even matter as far as athletic goalies go. But
Pickard was pretty athletic, though. We'll give him some
credit. In a different way, though, I guess, right? Like Pickard had a bit of Ranford to his game, or is just like little unpredictable, little more reactionary. And
actually, I think that's the key word there, Dash, predictability. And right now, that's another thing that Connor Ingram's bringing more so than Jari is, right? Like Ingram's game is reflecting our defensive game, which is all about right now being predictable and being stable.
Yeah, I think it's just their styles, right? And you said this. I'm just going to say it a different way, so I'm agreeing with you. But Jari, I think, is just in being probably one of the more athletic goalies we've had. It's his style too, right? I think he wants to kick those rebounds into the corner. He wants to deflect them off the blocker and get them to a player and keep the play moving. And because he's good at that, but when that doesn't happen, that doesn't suit this team, right? When he's not, see, like, where did I just see that? And then it moved. Oh, Edmonton Oilers for life. Thanks for jumping into the chat. Jari just loses his net on almost every lateral play. And like we said that about Skinner too, but that only happened, like that was, I think, typical of Skinner, like an absolute flaw. Whereas Jari, that's just when he's off. Like when he's not quite on his game, and that athleticism or his head isn't in the right place. I don't know. Maybe Bob has an idea why, but what's missing when Jari isn't on, but it doesn't suit our style, and he starts kicking pucks to people. And like you said, creates grade A's, and I'm agreeing with you. Lotsy, we haven't heard from you in a while. Maybe that's good. Stick it. Kevin?
Got nothing else to add, man. I think they're making the right choice with Ingram being the lead right now.
Yeah, no doubt. It has to be. But I mean, I see the story for getting Jari going, but
I was a little surprised that they didn't offer Jari a second start after he played as well as he did in the first one that he had most recently. But I hope that Jari's able to prove out a return to form and get back in the saddle, so to speak. But Ingram really has been at least immediately a breath of fresh air.
Was that the Mammoth game, the Jari one? I think so.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah.
We had 16 saves. It's a good performance.
Or was it the Vegas game?
No, it was last game was Utah, and he was a half goal saved above expected.
Okay. 16 saves. He didn't have to do a lot of work, and maybe that's a good thing, right?
No, it's not. I think it's more difficult. Getting under 20 shots a game, you're not in the rhythm. You're not in the flow of the game. I'd much rather face 40 shots than I would face 15.
But is that true for all goalies, Bob? Like, do you think that there's some goalies that benefit off of only getting 20 and getting those breaks in between, or do you think all goalies need to be in it all game all the time?
I think the majority of goalies would prefer to get 40 shots over 15, just for their own selves. I mean, if you're obviously your first thing is you want your team to win. So if your team has a better chance of winning, if you only face 15 shots, so be it. That's the number one stat you want. But for the goalie itself, selfishly, you want shots because you feel the rhythm, you feel in the zone. Now, once you're used to it and you're acclimatized to it, and you've mastered this, and I say shades of Marty Brodeur, who would be facing 20 shots a game, and racking up all these wins and shutouts and what have you. But out of these 20 shots, 6 of them would be like 10 bell saves. So for him to have that kind of focus and still be in it when there's like a breakaway chance to make that save, like he made a career out of that with it because he had laser-like focus. So I think he got used to having these 20 shots a game. And I, if he had been picked up by Columbus in the expansion draft or something, he may have struggled early on just because he wasn't used to that kind of, shot output that he made a career out of. But overall, I would say goaltenders they prefer shots. That's why you're a goalie. You want the shots. You want to feel the puck.
Yeah. You want to feel the puck.
In my case, that was rare.
That's what makes goalies odd right there.
In my case, it was rare. It was always behind me in the net. So I didn't feel the puck a lot, but still.
Yeah, well, fair enough. But for the record, it's a frozen piece of vulcanized rubber at 100 miles an hour. And you're saying we just love to feel the puck. All right, Lotsy, we've neutered you long enough. Go ahead, buddy.
We've had 2 whole conversations before.
Wow, I was going to try and make it 3, but no, I'm sure you were making notes. You're organized. We talked about goalies. We talked about lines. We talked about the defensemen.
Yeah, I mean, I'll touch on the goalies quickly. I mean, yes, Ingram. I think Ingram's style of play fits this team fairly well right now. Like when we're playing at our best, it is a fairly predictable style because we're not giving up a lot, and they've simplified the defensive zone coverage lately. There's been more defensive zone coverage, but they're not being as aggressive and they're not quite as susceptible to the grade A shots as they have been in like before the Olympic break, or they were before the Olympic break. So I think that's benefiting a goaltender like Ingram really well right now. And yeah, Jari, I don't have the answer as to what it's going to take for him to find his game. I was happy he had a decent start in Utah. And I mean, Ingram, 29th birthday, shutout. Happy birthday to him. So he's going to get the next start and he's earned it. I hope Jari figures it out because we're going to need him at some point, though. I wanted to get in on the Bouchard for Norris chat because I actually did a piece on this recently. And I'm just going to throw the QR code up to Heavy Hockey Editorials up by Dash's Heavy Hockey Showdown jersey there. You can scan the QR code and see all the latest over at Heavy Hockey. But I did a little bit of a dive into the numbers. It was about the case for Bouchard. And one of the things going against him was he had a bad first month, as did the Oilers. Okay, cool. Nikita Kucherov had 14 points in his first 16 games, but he's been otherworldly since then. Pretty sure he's the runaway leader for the Hart in most people's opinions. So if we're not punishing him for one bad month, why are we punishing Bouchard for one bad month? That doesn't make sense to me. And then I got going a little bit further. And Dash, you actually put this post out. I think it was a screenshot from the Amazon broadcast. It was Sport Logic. It was turnover rate, and then how many of those turnovers have led to scoring chances and how many of those have led to goals. There wasn't a lot to pick and choose between those numbers. Bouchard had led to the most scoring chances, but what I noticed was if you look at Makar, he had the fewest giveaways that led to scoring chances, but the most that led to goals. So that tells me the quality of his giveaways, they're pretty egregious. Those numbers make Bouchard's giveaways look a lot less egregious. So that was one. I'm grasping at straws trying to argue for Bouchard with that one, but I wanted to analyze those numbers and see if they pulled anything, and that's what they yielded for me. But then I went a little deeper and I was like, okay, well, we've been giving it to the highest scoring defenseman the last few years, which is true. The last 3 years it has been. And then Carlson in 2023 with 100 points, he was minus 26 that year. Like he didn't win it because of his defensive play. We'll say that. But before that run of 3 years, there was a run of 5 years where the leading scorer by defenseman did not win the Norris Trophy. And the one stat that was consistent among all those Norris Trophy winners was they had the best plus minus of all of the high-end scoring defensemen from that season. It's like among the scoring leaders for defensemen of that given year, the winner always had the highest plus minus. Yes, I know plus minus is a horribly flawed stat, and I'm not preaching the I'm not saying this is the way it should be from a philosophical perspective. I'm just saying this is the way the voters see it. Right, so that's why
it's a better indicator over 82 games than it is in a single game.
Yeah, 100%. And that's why Makar is going to win the Norris, though. That alone. He's plus 31 compared to Bouchard plus 21.
On a vastly better team with vastly better goaltending. Like
that's a part of it. That's a part of it too. I took it a little deeper in my piece. I was like, yep, Makar's gotten the best goaltending, the best PDO out of him, Bouchard, and Werenski, who would be my other nominee. And Bouchard's had the worst goaltending. So that actually kind of strengthens Bouchard's argument a little bit. But so I could make a compelling case for Bouchard, but I think we all know Makar is going to win it.
Didn't Erik Karlsson win the Norris in San Jose with like minus 20 or 24 or something like that?
Yeah, he also had 50 points. He was 50 points ahead of the next best person on his roster as a defenseman. So like to give credit where it's due, that's had something to do with it, right? Like
yeah, fair.
Yeah, that year was an outlier.
And the Sharks were shit that year as a team.
Yeah, I mean, he led the D scoring race by 25 points over the next guy. So, and he got to the 100-point mark, which is something that doesn't happen very often. So that's why he won it that year. But it's an anomaly. Like I went back and looked at the last 10 years, and like I say, the guy who had the best combo of scoring lots of points and a high plus minus is the guy that won.
Are you done?
Yes, Dash, I'm finally done.
Sorry, I stopped listening like 10 minutes ago. Just kidding. Well said. Yeah, it's I don't know. People hate the Oilers. The East hates the West. They can't stay up late enough, just like Ace. All right. Have we talked enough about the past four and beat that dead horse? I'd like to maybe shift over to what we got to do to keep this going. Maybe some keys to keeping the streak alive. Chicago up next. I guess that'll be a unique game just for the mere fact that we'll have Dickinson and Murphy seeing their old mates. I don't have the schedule in front of me. Who's after that?
Vegas after that.
Chicago, Vegas, Utah again, San Jose, LA. Colorado Van to finish it off. 3 games until we're back here next week. Chicago, Vegas, Utah. Let's keep it to that. Personally, they got to maintain this neutral zone discipline. I think that's first and foremost. Keep picking their spots. I like how Connor's been Connor, but slightly more selective Connor. If that makes sense. I really like the control, the possession control. Keep that going. Keep protecting the goaltender. Keep the predictability going. Keys to the next 3 games are, Bob. What do you think, bud?
Well, I think that Chicago is one of those games that's inexcusable if you lose. That's a team you should be definitely winning. So that'll be see how disciplined we can stay there. I also think Vegas is going to be interesting now with Torts behind the bench. So we'll see what the new coach bump might bring there. But for me, just on paper, I think the toughest test is the Utah game. I think Utah is one of those teams that is just silent killer kind of thing. I think they're better than people think they are, and they should be another good run. We just got to keep doing what we're doing. I mean, if we play it defensively as a team the way we've been playing, all these teams that we're up against down the stretch, like we can match with anybody. If we keep suffocating them and we keep limiting our grade A chances, it's the old cliche answers. Concentrate from the goalie on out kind of thing. Then I'm more interested to see if we can just keep that momentum going. We're at this point in the season now where it's great that we're playing our best stretch of hockey we have in all season. It's good to be on this kind of run when you're entering the playoffs as opposed to slumping before you get to the playoffs. But we still got another, 7 games to prove that this isn't an anomaly. and finish up on a high note where we actually are a threat in the playoffs, where people are looking at the Oilers going, "Oh shit, they could do it again."
Yes, Bob. There is about 6 or 7 games.
Oh shit, I'm out.
You're on mute. It's 7. Correct answer 7. Let's keep going around the horn. Kevin Bartholomew McCurdy. What does this team Oilers got to do to keep this thing going, buddy?
Take everybody seriously from here on out.
Yeah,
their
fair.
Biggest,
yeah.
Their biggest thing is to take on shitter teams and
play to their level.
Properly just not like show up for like half the game or maybe more. This is a team that has all the tools they need to beat any team in this league. They just have to show up consistently and do it. And then we've finally seen some of that in the past few games. And hopefully we'll see that for the rest of the season and deep into the playoffs.
Yeah, so we need a Chicago Game 75 effort, not a Chicago Game 7 effort, is basically what you're saying there. Like, it's time to take everybody serious. Practice makes perfect, right? Run that system against everybody. Try to keep that consistency rolling. You said something in there, taking everybody seriously, that kind of cued me into a cool little segue, I think, that I'll use right after this. So hopefully Lotsy doesn't screw it up for me. He probably will. But I'm sure he's got something smart to say about how the Oilers are going to win the next 4 games. Or 3 games, pardon me.
I think it's just going to come down to commitment. Commitment to paying attention to the little details and really focusing on that, and a commitment to shutting it down on the defensive end. Just continuing to perfect the new system and doing all the little things that you need to do. Like, they've got the skill to beat every one of these teams. Colorado is the only game that I think we might be on the lower side of the odds for, and they might be resting some guys, as that's the second last game of the year. Right. So, I mean, the Vegas game is going to be a big one, as Bob alluded to, with Torts behind the bench. Seeding is going to be on the line potentially, or maybe the Oilers, or maybe they want to keep the Oilers from winning the division. Utah, that could be another first round matchup, so that'll be a spirited one as well. Sharks, they're going to be pushing for a wild card spot. Same with the Kings, they're in that mix too. So there's going to be some intense games there, but they can take all those teams. If they stick to their game and commit to doing the little things, they can win all of those games.
Yep. I would agree with that. You alluded to it, but you didn't completely ruin it, so I'll give you your first pat on the back for tonight. With that, I'll do a little bit of a reset here. We got about probably a few more minutes left before we wrap this thing up. You are listening to episode 15 of the Heavy Hockey Podcast. Bob the Goalie, Ryan Lotsberg, Kevin McCurdy. We are talking Oilers. We're talking the streak. That will be maybe continued, maybe not. Chicago, I would hope so. Let's hope they're into 5. That said, the next 2 games after that are interesting for, I guess, one particular reason. Now, there isn't an X beside the Oilers' name yet. They should and will make the playoffs here. It's very, very much looking like when they do, if they do, when they do, it will be either round 1 against the Vegas Golden Knights or potentially the Utah Mammoth after we knock off the Chicago Blackhawks, like Kevin McCurdy just guaranteed. There's 2 teams that we got to, and to his point, take everybody seriously. There's the 2 teams you're potentially facing in the first round. I think we're 8-1 or something like that in the last 9 against Vegas. We just beat Utah 5-2 pretty handily the other night. They got 18 shots on net for the entire game. I thought it was a really mature game for the Oilers. So let's maybe shift the last topic into where your thoughts are around those potential playoffs. If you don't want to talk about it because you're a little stitious, that's fine. I don't care. But that said, I'd rather see Vegas. I think it's a more rivalry type of series. I think they can build off that. They can get some emotion off of it. They're not too threatening. The Tortorella factor. I don't know. Yeah, there'll probably be a coach bump. Whether Torts can come in as a hired gun and do what he's done in the past, or just send him right and write their death certificate out of the first round. Well, he's come in and had a bump when he's
in the past, like since 2013.
There's evidence that says the first 10 games under Torts have not gone as well as people think they may have in his last handful of coaching gigs. But what we don't know is after those 10 games.
Yeah.
Right? I think they had 8 games left when they made the change. Approximately.
Their biggest issue is goaltending, though. Like if Aiden Hill can figure his situation out, man, look out.
They also can't score, but Rediscovery just said that. Yeah. Anyways, well, hey, so that's my thoughts on that. I'd rather see Vegas. Get some rivalry going, get some emotions going, get some of those guys, going. Utah, they don't scare me. I don't think they got a lot of real playoff proven battle dudes over there. There's kind of, I don't know. It's not a big team. It's a good team. Let's see. This will be everybody's last comment on this. Then I'll give everybody a last word. We didn't do Call Me Crazy, and we forgot to play Patrick's video for the rundown that he begged us to play. So I don't know. Maybe we can give him a last word in the last round and start with that, Lotsy. And then, I don't know. Kevin, you can have last word tonight. It's a good day for that. All right. So who would you like to see in the playoffs, Bob? Do you have a preference? Do you even want to talk about it?
I mean, a preference, I'm probably with you when it comes to Vegas. I actually think Vegas has a lot more holes right now, especially in net. You're getting to a tight window now where...
pretty important hole. Like
That's right. It's getting an important time of the season now, and they only got a handful of games they have to try and figure out their goaltending system. And right now, they are probably, in my mind, team goaltending wise, they're probably one of the bottom 3 goaltending teams right now. So it'd be a good opportunity if it continues to carry on the postseason. That might be a good opportunity just to jump all over that with the high-powered offense we have. Maybe we're putting up 9-2 scores against them as opposed to the other way around. Other than that, man, love being on here, guys. Some pretty good stuff going on in the chat here. I've actually been typing in there off and on as well, especially when Dash goes on forever. And then I go on, type something in the chat to have a meaningful conversation. Overall, great job, Dash. Great job, Lotsy and Kev. Always appreciate the 3 of you guys. Let's keep her going here. Last stretch drive, and let's play some water hockey. Go head into the playoffs.
Yeah, biggest thing there is to figure out how you got back into the chat since you're blocked. But Lotsy, thoughts on maybe any of that, if you want to, and last words.
There's pros and cons to both sides, obviously. Vegas, it's always a tight game against them, right? It's a bit of a rivalry game. There's always some hate there. I think it'd be a fun series. Yeah, they have a couple more holes to pick apart. Like the goaltending is the big one. If they settle in under Torts, that could be a scary factor. But we're not talking about what scares us with Utah. Like they're a young, fast team, which usually gives the Oilers fits. But I'm thinking about Seattle beating Colorado a couple of 2-3 years ago now in the first round. That was their first playoff berth as an expansion team. This will be Utah's first playoff run as they are technically an expansion team, even though they're kind of not really an expansion team. But first playoff run in a new city. The city's going to be electric, coming against a tired Oilers team that's been to 2 straight Cup finals and had to deal with the emotional weight of losing both of those. It's a scary proposition mentally. So but that's probably why I'd say I'd rather see Vegas.
Yeah. All right. Anything else there, bud? And final words? Then maybe play Patrick's video, and then we'll give Kevin last thoughts.
Yeah, I don't know why I kind of half want to touch on Toronto's GM situation because I think it's hilarious. I thought
jump in quick.
That press conference that Pelly gave yesterday was like awful, like train wreck. Like you don't see
Love it.
Buffalo and Montreal coming. Like Steve Dangle said, yeah, I could kind of forgive not seeing Buffalo. No, they didn't even see Buffalo coming, and I think that they've been a big surprise. But how do you not see Montreal coming? Like, how do you not do a competitive analysis of your division to understand where the threats are? That doesn't make sense. But yeah, Tree Living was never the right choice there, and I'm not optimistic that Pelly will make a smart decision for their future over there at all, which I'm not upset about. They can do what they want. But I just thought it was awful by Pelly. Peculiar timing. Like, I understand it. Maybe Tree Living was just like, screw it, I know it's coming, so just get rid of me. Right? But anyway, I thought that was just silly. A bad press conference from Pelly. But anyway, yeah, let's go to Kev, and we'll do Patrick's video, and we can go from there. Yeah, I don't know what order you want to do that in.
Well, whatever. I'm good for the night, anyways. So I'll say goodnight now. I've said enough. Thanks, guys. Appreciate you doing this. Appreciate doing this with you all the time. Fun to chat and pontificate with the Edmonton Oilers and on the Edmonton Oilers. So good night. Yeah, Kev, Patrick, whoever. I don't care, Lotsy. You're producing. Good night.
Hey, go ahead, Kev. We'll exit with Patrick's video.
There you
I don't have a lot more to add. I mean, tend to agree with you on the GM situation. It's kind of ridiculous. Some of their potential candidates, though, like there's some real heavyweights in there. If they were able to get, Sonny Mita or
Bob Stauffer.
Yeah, right. He's for us. Sorry. We need his aura here, man. Like,
he's already got a Post-it note on him.
No, we need that aura. Only Bob can skate around the ice in a Red Bull and turn an entire season around. I'm sorry to say. So
I did like the April Fool's joke today when he was named head coach.
Yeah, that's pretty funny. I do think that the Oilers wouldn't be too remiss to look into a couple of those folks themselves for some roles within our organization. I doubt Mita is interested in leaving Florida, where he's won 2 Stanley Cups for Edmonton, but anything is possible given his blogging history here. Yeah, I would just want to say thank you to everybody that reached out today. There's been a few dozen folks that have reached out privately or in various media to pay their respects to Dad, and I just wanted to let everybody know that it's appreciated and it means a lot to Mom and I. It's been a challenging week and honestly kind of an awful year all the way around. So the support has been really welcome. And with that said, we will never in doubt our way to the final video.
That Patrick begged us to play.
Yeah, maybe should have gone Patrick first after hearing that. All right.
That's fair.
All right. So, yeah, Patrick wanted to do this little rundown video, and I'm going to come on briefly to talk about.
Hey everyone, Patrick here. I'm sadly unable to join you on the Heavy Hockey Podcast tonight, so I thought I'd throw together a quick little news video for you so everyone is up to date here on all the latest in oil country. Zach Hyman was not on the ice at practice today and is questionable for tomorrow night's game at Chicago. No word on the reason for his absence at this time, but we should find out more tomorrow. Trent Frederick was skating on a line with Jason Dickinson and Kasperi Kapanen today and is set to return tomorrow night against Chicago. In response to this amazing news, we hear our very own Ryan Lotsberg will be purchasing a Trent Frederick jersey for tomorrow night's game, and Lotsy will be purchasing a seat behind the Oilers bench so he can cheer on Trent Frederick up close and personal. Colton Dock was skating in Hyman's spot at practice, and according to head coach Chris Knobloch, he's currently day-to-day. There's a chance we see him in tomorrow night's game. Josh Szymanski is now the odd man out of the lineup, but he remains with the team with several roster spots up in the air. And lastly, the Oilers announced today they have signed prospect William Nickel to a 3-year entry-level contract beginning in the 2026-2027 season. Nickel has 15 goals and 11 assists in 32 games this season with the OHL's London Knights. The Oilers drafted Nickel in the 7th round of the 2024 NHL Draft. That's all the latest. Enjoy the podcast tonight, guys. You've been watching the Oilers Fanatic. Thanks for being a fan.
So, I mean, you can't always believe everything you see online, right? And
The internet never lies, Lotsy.
there's been plenty of lies spreading around the internet today, given it's April Fool's. So so take some info in that video with a grain of salt.
Oh, so it's gonna be a Max Jones jersey. Got it.
Yeah, no.
You could be like me and be
Other
the
than-
proud owner of one of 3 Vincent Desharnais jerseys. Like,
Yeah, no, my
It's
McDavid
hanging right
collection
beside your
goes
Martin
unpunished.
Marinson.
yeah,
The Marty Gurnett one.
yeah. One of the
Yeah,
3
no.
Pulio jerseys.
No, my McDavid collection remains untainted, and it shall stay that way through April or through tomorrow night's game as well. So, yeah. Anyway, we can end her on that note.
All right. Good night, everybody.